So the podcast is called Let's Talk Cows, and I'm actually going to assume you know nothing. So I was almost at know nothing when I started, so I'm going to have you at that same level. So the first thing is, a cow, right? Probably the most popular animal to have on a farm or eat is chickens. They make eggs, you can eat them. And then the second most popular are meat source is beef. Most of the world has beef, and beef comes from cows. And cows also make another popular thing, milk, so dairy. So the first thing to do is mention that there's really two types of cows. There's many breeds, but the two types is either a dairy cow, the ones that are meant for milk, and the other one is a beef cow, which is meant to be eaten. And I'm just going to only talk about beef cows because dairy is so much work. I would say twice a day milking if you're going to do it manually, and a lot of people use machines. So we're going to talk about the old school way, and we're going to do beef cows. Now, even the term cow is kind of wrong. They're actually cattle because a cow is a mother. So if you say there's a cow there, you might be wrong. If it's a female who's never given birth, it's a heifer. And if it's a male, it's adult male, it's a bull. But if the male has been neutered at a young age, it is actually called a steer. So the four main things we hear out here is cow, heifer, steer, and then bull. Bull is the least popular because it's not as useful as a heifer or a cow. So those are the basics. And we're going to have 8 heifers showing up on the farm. So 8 young females, all under a year old. And the breed is Hereford. Again, so many breeds, and I can go into it. And I don't know anything. So I'm going to tell you what little I know. The first breed we wanted was Scottish Highland. They just look so nice and cute and stuff. And we were told by the farmers who know a lot more that the skill level you need to have to own Scottish Highland is higher than ours. We're at the bottom skill, like you can't get lower. And we were told for us the breed that we should get in this area of Ontario is a breed, I believe, from Scotland originally, called Hereford. And that's one we went with. So we went with a Hereford breed. They're known for beef, and their coats are kind of like wool-ish. You could see when the rain hits it and stuff, it can absorb better or repel better than other breeds, like the ones we saw with Jersey and stuff. And then I think we saw some dairy as well, other dairy cows. I don't know their names. I don't want to say the wrong name because it's wrong. So we're gonna get into the big stuff. So money. You wanna buy a cow? Uh, Obviously, you're gonna need farmland. So the price on the farmland varies where you are. If we have, say, 5 hours west of us, it's like double, and it's over $1 million easily, and you're surrounded by a lot of commercial farmers. So the area we picked was a good spot, and the farm price I can't really get into because it's going to just change based on where you go. But probably the cheapest 300,000 you can get to start, maybe 400,000. And also all the prices I'm going to give are in Canadian. And the other videos I had, I put stuff in American, but there's too many prices here. Can't convert them all. So I'm just going to do Canadian, and this is year 2024. Right now, the Canadian dollar is 70 cents to the American. So if you're American, you can just slap off 30% off or more. And you can figure out what the price is in American. So the price of the cows. The cows were 8 cows, young ones, and they were $1,900 each. So I'm going to start writing these numbers down. $1,900 each. And if there's 8 of them, I did the math yesterday, but I'll just confirm right now. 8 is 15,200. So just to make things easy, I'm just going to say 15,000 to keep things simple. And that's just for the cows. Now, if you have cows, you're going to need corral panels. And it's basically these like portable fences that are very heavy and strong. Well, I'll discuss the different types of panels later. But we bought two sets, one of 15 panels and another one of 12 panels. I'm trying to remember the prices exactly because one was used and one was new. Also, one was steel and one was aluminum. So we're just going to go with an average price for all the panels of 15,000. Sorry, not 15,000, 5,000. So for every panel set that we bought was 5,000. I think you need panels. Next is how the cow's going to eat in the winter. We have winter in Canada, and of the breed we have, they're known for eating certain amounts. Their age, they'll eat less, stuff like that. So we were told basically to be safe for the whole winter, because they can't eat grass in the snow, is 80 hay bales. 80. So for one hay bale is $40. So $40 times 80. So to feed them is 3,200. We're going to round that down as well to make things simple. We're going to say 3,000 for winter food. In the spring and summer and fall, you don't really have to really feed them. They eat the grass. They're really good. They're hands off. That's what's great about beef cows, and also the breed we have, Hereford. They're also hands off. They're just like, let them do their thing. Don't interfere. And the next thing is you got to move the hay bales around. And we got small ones. And everyone uses a tractor. And a tractor's price was more than we, in our budget. And skill set, you know how to use a tractor? It's not like a car. So the range we saw was 40,000 Canadian plus tax. So you're probably looking at like $45,000 Canadian. And we decided to go with what some YouTubers had done, and even some local has showed us it's possible, which is just get a quad ATV. It's a little, you know, strong, tough vehicle that you can go off-roading in and stuff like that. It can tow and stuff like that. So we're basically going to use a quad to move the hay bales around by towing them. So the quad plus tax for a quad that can handle the weight of these hay bales, because you can roll them, but they're not easy to roll. I'm going to sneeze actually. Also have some coffee. Sneezing didn't happen. I don't know why. Okay. So the ATV is $15,000. So the price of the cow and the ATV is almost the same price. So not including farmland, 15, plus 5 plus 3 plus 15 is $38,000 to get 8 cows. And this is starting from zero. You don't have anything, nothing's ready, and you start from that low level. Now, what's great about cows is after that, in theory, the only thing you need to get is more hay for them every year. But if you breed them and they make kids and the kids are successful, the money you make on selling the kids will pay for the hay and start paying back for all the prices you just invested in. That's the plan. Okay, now we're going to talk some details here. Also, just so you know, I made a mistake when I mentioned panels. I should have included the feeder. This is a very interesting thing about these corral panels. The material has changed over the years. So if you get a corral panel that's for a horse, so it cannot be used for cows, it's a circle. I can't pronounce it. Bars. The bars across are circles, kind of like in prisons from those old cartoons, but they're horizontal, not vertical. And a circle cannot be used for a cow. It's not strong enough. It's actually meant for a horse. So when a horse does something kind of crazy and hits it, it's supposed to bend, not the horse is going to break. But for you give that to a cow, the cow's going to laugh at you and then break through and just do whatever it wants. So what you need to do for panels, corral panels, is to have square bars, or even stronger is diamond. Now the old school one that we have and is most popular is steel. So steel you can have square or diamond. I would say diamond if you have a bull who's really tough. But if you just have regular cows, you can just go with square. And that's what we had. We have steel square at 12 feet across. Now the more modern one is aluminum. Aluminum is really light, and it's not supposed to rust in theory. And it's not as strong though as steel. So if you get it for cows, the aluminum has to be diamond. And diamond is just basically the square tilted 45 degrees. Now this is the stunning thing, is weight. So we have a 6 foot feeder made out of steel, 12-foot steel panels, and 10-foot aluminum panels. Now, the 6-foot feeder, each feeder, there's three of them to kind of come make a 6-foot diameter um, uh, circle for your hay. This one panel, I weighed it, is 95 pounds if it's steel. The 12-foot steel panels, I weighed those, they're 115 pounds. So to move one, you like need two people or drag it or some heavy machinery. The aluminum is quite shockingly light. So a 10-foot aluminum is 25 pounds. I would say it's like 20% the weight of a steel panel. So if you can get the money long term, I say go with aluminum. The ones we bought that were steel were used, and the feeder, there was no aluminum feeder. That was so we couldn't option. But for panels, I recommend get aluminum panels. You won't regret it. So that's the story about weights. Now next is farmland. The farmers have told us all farmland are not the same. So one big thing is if your farm is surrounded by other farms and your land has been used for a certain, usually farms are surrounded by other farms, you have to kind of stick with it. So if everyone around you is doing apples and your farm had apples, don't switch to pears. You know, it's not meant to be it. So for our area, it's literally this part has been doing almost 30 years of cows, and the people surrounding us are all doing cows. We don't know how long, but for a long time. So when we got here, it's like you're doing cows. Like you're not doing goats. You're not doing other animals. You're doing cows. So that's a key thing. You have to kind of go with the momentum of your area and don't try to reinvent anything because farms are organic. They're not like you can just destroy it and recreate it from scratch. You don't have that ability. You have to go with momentum. If you try to destroy it, reinvent it, you're going to have lots of failure. And we don't know anyone who has succeeded like that. So they've all, I think, given up if they tried that. Next is the hay. $40 a bale is expensive, and there's cheaper bales out there. But farmers have told us you can't do that. You can't just get the cheapest price on Kijiji or Craigslist or not eBay, but Facebook's market. Any of those places, you can't just get the cheapest. You have to know who is supplying the hay, that they have a reputation, they're all respected in the community. That person will tell you exactly who they harvest the hay from, either their own property or other people's properties. Often it's both. And they have to have a reputation of always providing hay specifically for the animal that you're feeding. So I think horse and cow hay are probably the same, but I would not recommend using the hay that's not kind of at that standard, because I've been told by one person they had animals die over the winter eating the hay that was not at the high standard that is for their breed of animals, which was a cow. So don't go cheap on hay. Next one we're going to talk about is different stories. This is incredible. So we started in September. This is now December, and the 8 cows. We knew they were young, and we're like, okay, they may be timid, right? And the farmer told us, when we put on the land, you probably won't see them for days. And like, that makes sense. They're gonna run away and slowly come back to us because we have water here, and also us. They like to look at you. Cows are interested in humans. They're very domesticated. They can never survive when they're wild. They're not like a buffalo. Buffalo is wild, but cow is not. And when the cows showed up, it was stunning to see 8 large cows being scared by 3 little lambs who wanted to meet them. So these little lambs are so excited. Someone's here on the farm. They run up to them. And lambs are not like mean, except for males. They can ram you, but they don't look intimidating. And 8 cows were scared and they ran away. And I was like, wow. I didn't not record that because I did not expect something like that to happen. Then the 3-day thing did not happen. Like I think within an hour, all 8 cows came back, and they came back like on a mission. So I thought, like, why are they doing this? Are they like looking for water? They want to meet the lambs now? No, they were on a mission to meet the other cows we already had on the farm. So we already had other cows on the farm, not ours, someone else's cows. And they must have, this is my guess, they must have found the manure of those cows and smelled the manure. So they knew it was fresh. They knew probably the age of the cows, gender, confidence level. You know how like dogs have confidence. I'm assuming cows have the same thing. And these eight were hunting for them, found the other group, which was also actually eight, or maybe more. I don't remember. I would say eight. And this eight had no idea there was cows on the farm. They thought they were the only ones, and they're just sitting there relaxing. So I don't know where this group shows up, and I would describe it as seeing high schoolers, one group of high school kids wearing, jean jackets with like blondish hair, in the hallway, and out of nowhere, another group of teenagers with leather jackets with grease in their hair, right, and dark, black hair show up and just kind of roughhouse. They like it was like almost like a bully attack. Not mean, but it was quite shocking to see these cows start fighting the other group to meet them. And I think within a minute, 5 minutes of fighting, and the other group was not ready. They had the element of surprise. They were sitting down. They had no idea there was cows, so they were shocked. After like 5 minutes of fighting, they all became friends, and then they all just, as a, as a high school reference, the two big group of kids just went outside to have fun, and like liked each other now, and that was quite stunning to see as well. So big fight, and then big friendship. What other stories do I have about cows? Water. So the property has a natural spring, which is great, and other sources of water that come in. But in the winter, it's frozen. So you got to give them water every day. And we got the proper waterer for a cow, for the amount of cows we have, which is eight. The only issues with the cow waterer is it freezes. So you need a proper heating element. I don't remember, do not go cheap with a heating element, get a good one. And the next thing is that the hose can freeze. So I've been learning a lot of lessons about this. Hose freezing is my number one problem. I actually have to get two hoses because if I have one hose out for a while in freezing temperatures, it freezes. I open the water, nothing happens. I have to disconnect the hose, bring in inside a warm area, and then bring a second hose out that is not frozen. Also, I would say cows only drink once a day, at least from what I've observed, and they usually drink in the morning. So as I'm slowly waking up, if the sun is out, I'm coughing here. If the sun is out, they want water and they will start mooing. Not this group is not that bad, but they kind of get your attention like I'm thirsty. And a couple times they kind of roughhoused to like all go at the same time, but I was able to kind of get them not to. But ideally, they just kind of drink in a polite way and they just take their turns. And the only morning they did not show up is when we had a crazy rain happen during winter, and they must have found their own source of water out there. And they didn't bother with me. And also, it makes sense. It's fresher off the ground, like it just came out of the sky. And it does seem like cows, even chickens, they love to hunt for things. They don't like to just be given it. So searching for grass to eat it makes them more happy than you just giving hay. And them searching for water sources on the property to drink, it makes them more happy than just you giving water and they expect it. So those are my stories for now. Excuse me. And if I have other stories, I'll add them in. But we're going to go on to corrections. If you watch this and I missed a detail early on, not advanced stuff or intermediate stuff, just basic. If I made a mistake, please correct it or tell me or ask me a question in the comments, and I'll try to adjust it in the next podcast, which I think will be once a month. Just don't know exactly what days. This is a big deal. Ignore bad advice. It is incredible. Before you get on a farm, bad advice is showered on you. As you get on the farm, bad advice is showered on you. As you're getting the cows and you got the cows, bad advice is showered on you. It is like a constant problem. It'd be like saying you live in a bad neighborhood and people breaking into cars all the time. And every night you got to lock up your car, take out the valuables so they don't break the glass, do all these tricks to make sure your car's not taken or things are not taken out of your car. Like nightly, you have to worry about this. I would say as a farmer, I'm surrounded by bad advice. And this is a thing that people often don't know, right? what is bad advice? What's good advice? Like when you know nothing, who are you supposed to listen to? And if you listen to the wrong people, it's going to cost you money. It's going to cause animals to die. If you take care of them and they die, you feel like you've failed. Like you don't see it as like your child has died, but you feel like a failure, right? So taking bad advice can be fatal for animals. It can make you give up. People burn out because they failed. So I would say how to avoid bad advice. You have to look at the person. So when they speak, you're like, okay, I'm hearing what you're saying, but I don't know if it's right or wrong. So the first thing I have to evaluate, I have to evaluate two things. Number one is their heart. Do they have a good heart? Do they want the best for you? If they have that, they have one of two things. They have to have the second thing as well. They have to be experts on that topic, either through their research or them doing, or ideally both. So if they're experts, now they have the second thing, good heart and an expert. Now let's say they only have a good heart. That can be a nice person coming over to your place, your mother or father calling, saying, "Oh, I have a great idea for you." Like, what's that? The idea is horrible. They only have a good heart. They don't know anything about the topic. And then you have the inverse, someone who's a local, someone who knows everything about that topic, knows so much, been doing it forever, generations, but they don't have a good heart. They're going to give you bad advice that will help them and not you. And you're going to go, wow, that didn't work. And when it doesn't work, you can blame yourself, but it's not really your fault. The main problem is you took bad advice, you thought it was true, and it was false. In a way, you kind of got frauded in that case. Defrauded. Yeah. So that's what you look for. They have both those qualities, good heart, know what they're talking about, and you have a question, low level question, like how do I give water to cows? Simple, dumb question, right? You ask them that question, they give you an answer. All you need to do is call one other person. I call these people who have these two qualities trusted experts. You trust they have a good heart, and you trust they have knowledge. You call a second trusted expert, or email them, or whatever way you speak to them, or see them in person, and bring up the exact same question the same way. And if their answer is identical to the other one, that's not a coincidence. When they both agree, when you ask what's 1 + 1 to a mathematician, they say 2. And you find another one is like, what's 1 + 1? They say 2. That's the answer. And then from that, you can then have confidence saying, I know what the answer is, let's do it. Even though you're a total rookie, right? That's what Let's Talk Cows is about. Total rookies like ourselves. September is the first time we had cows. We're months into this. If you listen to trusted experts, you won't fail. You'll have mistakes, of course, and things will happen, but you won't have massive failure. Everything will be kind of recoverable. It's like stumbling. You'll have a stumble, but you won't break your legs. You won't break your arms. You won't break your face. You'll be able to still keep going. Oh, I stumbled a little bit, but I'm still going on where I'm going. I'm not pretty doing it, but I'm still doing it, right? And I think I have other stories about cows I'm forgetting, blanking out. I'll write them down for the next one. But I do want to plug something. So this is on Low Skill Farmer, but clips of this and shorts of this will appear on a different channel. That channel is going to be called Let's Talk Cows. It's going to start in January, and it's just going to be an easier way to consume this information. I'm just going to clip it, make it shorter, and do it this way. And this will be done like once a month, this long form podcast, but the short ones will be weekly. So weekly, you'll see Wednesdays and Fridays. I think Wednesdays is going to be a clip, and then Fridays will be the short. I'll figure that out as I get there. And I can't guarantee every Wednesday, Friday, because the content's not guaranteed based on what I say here. I think that's it. Anything I forgot, I will write it down myself and do for the next one, which should be in next month, January 2025, in the middle of winter. It's going to be intense. Anyways, give yourself a try, see what you can do. More updates coming later from the farm in Ontario.